Hey guys, Bill the Kansas Flamingo Chef. If you're like me, you probably grew up in wintertime with soups and stews and things like that, and probably some version of goulash. You know, my dad had some dumb name for it. I think he called it slumgolium or something. I don't remember. But no matter what you call it, there's a lot of history behind it. So many competing backstories. People say it came from Hungary or Germany or whatever. I don't care. I just know it's really good comfort food. It's been raining all day. Seems like the right thing to do. Let me show you how. The ingredients for my version of goulash are pretty simple. You're going to need ground beef. Now, I was at Sam's and they've got this stuff. This is packed in pounds. I'm going to use 2 pounds. This comes 3 pounds in, but it's really affordable this way. I mean, it makes it like $4 a pound. And I like a leaner ground beef, so this is 90% or 93% lean. Need a bell pepper. You need an onion. You can use a white onion or a yellow onion. It really doesn't matter. I'm going to use a white onion just because I had it on hand. We're going to need pasta. Now, you can use any kind of pasta you want, any shape or size, whatever makes you happy. I like the traditional look of the macaroni elbows, so we'll use that. Since I'm using 2 pounds of beef, I'm going to use at least a pound of pasta, maybe a little more. And the key here is you can cook more pasta than you need and be fine, but you don't want to cook not enough pasta because then you're going to have a mess. All right, we're going to need some stock. Now, beef stock is fine. I want a little flavor in this, so I'm going to use the Better Than Bouillon. And this is actually the Italian herb stock, which is a beef and vegetable base. I like this because it's going to give it a little more flavor. I'm going to use a can, a larger can. This is a 28-ounce can of tomato sauce. I like this Italian style tomato sauce, but it really doesn't matter. It's tomato sauce. And then also a can, a small can, a 14.5 ounce of just diced tomatoes. Then I'm going to have some Worcestershire sauce. As far as I'm concerned, there's only one real Worcestershire sauce, and that's Lee and Perrins. If you use anything else, it's really not Worcestershire. And then you need seasoning, salt, pepper, and garlic. Also some Italian seasoning and some oregano. And then just because I want a little bit of zing in here without being hot, I'm going to use this Lane's Cubano seasoning, which is kind of a smoked rub. Oh man, it's so good. That's really it. So let's get started. All right, so I'm bringing my water up to a boil to put the pasta in. I've chopped up my onion and bell pepper. Not fine chopped, just small chopped. And we're going to start by browning the meat. Now, I'm going to do this, no big secret here. I'm just going to brown some ground beef. And as it browns, I'm going to add in the vegetables. And then I'm going to start to season it a little bit. Then we'll add the sauce and we'll build it up from there. Eventually, the idea is when the pasta is done, we'll add it to the meat dish and be ready to serve. Now, as you brown this beef, you don't want it just completely broken down. You want pretty decent sized chunks, kind of like you do in chili, so it has a little texture to it. My water's at a boil. We're going to go ahead and put the pasta in there, let that meat start cooking, and then we'll start adding vegetables and seasoning. I'm sure you can hear the water boiling in the background as the pasta is going. I'm just moving this meat around. Again, I'm not trying to just completely crumble it up, but I do want to get some browning started before I add anything else to it. All right, we're just a couple minutes into the browning. You can see where I'm at as far as the meat. It's about halfway cooked as far as brown. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put the vegetables in so that they can actually cook in the fat that's coming off of the meat. As you stir those in, we're going to let that cook, and we're going to start to add some seasoning. So I'm going to start with some Italian seasoning, probably a couple of tablespoons. because that's going to be my main flavor in here. And I'm going to enhance that with some oregano, about a tablespoon of that. And then I'm going to add my salt, pepper, and garlic. About a tablespoon of that as well. And I will bulk up that flavor just a little bit with the cubano. Doesn't need very much. One thing about cooking macaroni, you got to make sure that you keep it from sticking to the bottom of the pot. So you do need to stir this occasionally. And I put both pounds in there, so I'm probably going to add a little more water here in a moment. We're going to go ahead and stir this together. And you can see the vegetables are going to absorb that little bit of fat that's coming off of that low-fat beef. As this is cooking together, the next step is we need to add our broth. So I've added some water to my pasta. I'm actually going to take a little water off the pasta since it's nice and hot. And I'm going to take my Better Than Bouillon and let that dissolve in there rather quickly. And drop that right into the dish. And that was about a cup of liquid that I've added. I'm going to let that work itself in and cook down just a little bit, and then we'll get ready to build up from there. At this point, while that's working down, I'm going to give it about 4 shots of Worcestershire. All right, it's only been a couple of minutes. You can see that liquid is about completely gone. I'm going to go ahead and add my can of diced tomatoes to that and roll them in. Again, we're just creating a little texture with those and color. All right, stir our pasta again. Getting it back up to a good roaring boil so we can finish the pasta. Now, we're going to add this tomato sauce. And just lightly combine that. And we're going to bring our heat down now to medium and let all of that do its thing. We want this to continue to reduce while the pasta finishes, and then we will start adding the ingredients together and mix them together and finish it up. Okay, the pasta is done cooking. I've run it through the colander to get the water off of it, but I'm going to use this pot. And notice I've left the pasta starch in the bottom because now we're going to transfer this into here. And I apologize for the camera angle, but there's no good way to do this so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just dropping it from one pot to the other. So turn this heat down, actually pretty much off, and let the remaining heat just blend that together. Let it sit for just a couple of minutes, and then we're going to start adding pasta to it till we get it to the consistency that we want. I'm just going to drop a little bit of pasta in here. This is a 1 cup measuring cup. So I'm going to drop a little pasta in here, a cup at a time, and then just kind of blend it together until I get it the way that I want it to look. You can just pull this off the heat, let it sit. It's not going to hurt anything to sit for a little while. And then when you're 15-20 minutes, when the pasta has absorbed all the remaining liquid, you're ready to serve. When you serve this up, I like to throw on a little cheddar cheese on the top. I just think it makes the look and the flavors come together. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's great. But in the words of Emerald, bam! Now it's even better. As always, I'd like to remind you, if you enjoyed this video, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. And by all means, if there's something you'd like me to make, shoot me an email or comment right on this video, bill@kansasflamingochef.com. I've got lots of other stuff on my channel. Make sure you check it out. Eat fabulous. I'll see you for the next one.